So, me and Susie have decided that we are going to do. I can hear you, but I can't see you as per usual. So, I'm just explaining that we do a weekly walk every week, just before anyone wants to join us, or if anyone does join us, just before you joined us. I was just saying we do a free weekly walk that we start off, and it's purely for socialization. We want to be able to get the word out, because obviously for us, and what Susie's message was in that beautiful video yesterday about, you know, what our job is as trainers and what we're trying to accomplish as a team with everyone around us. We're just making sure that we've got some well socialized dogs, and dogs that, you know, where you're feeling uncomfortable. Hi, everyone who's watching, by the way, say hi. Anyone who is, you know, so frightened or anxious about taking their dog out for a walk, trust me, we've both been there. We've both been in your shoes.
Still,
Like, it's
still
so,
there.
it can be so awful. And,
Yeah.
you know, and we want to get it across that we're so non-judgy. We've both had and still, you know, have problems. So Susie's obviously got Sabre, which she's going into. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. So she can tell her.
Sorry, that's just a private joke. Mel will get it.
That's all right. So we've both had some real challenging breeds as well. My past dog Buddy's a little bit better. Obviously, sometimes there's testing going on. But obviously for us, it's just getting it out there that we really do recommend just coming out with us. We've seen a massive progression in so many different dogs. And the thing is, it's not about training, because obviously we charge for that. So, you know, for us, these free weekly walks is purely to get people out and about, socializing and showing them how they can be with their dogs on a walk, and just some little tips and hints and stuff. But it's not training. We're not training them. We're just helping the people and just giving them advice. And if there is something, an incident that happens, for instance, like we had the other week, where there was a dog off lead that approached some of our reactive dogs, we just show them how to approach that, you know, and how to speak to people. It sounds really ridiculous.
How to deal with it.
So I just wanted to get that across. Obviously, Susie joined like a little bit later on, but I just wanted to say that's what we do, and that's what we want to emphasize. And the reason behind that, and if you haven't seen Susie's video from yesterday, it's purely because you can say about this, because you've been into the kill centers and the rescues and everything else. Like, you can say about that experience, can't you?
Yeah. So I've been to a few rescue places and to rescue dogs for our own personal use, and it is utterly heartbreaking, so bad that my husband said he could never return to one again, because it's just the sounds. Anyone that's experienced it, the sounds of these dogs that they're making, it's awful. And since then, I thought that is something that is so easily avoidable. And I think the main issue is people watch these really fancy schmancy training videos, and a lot of them are cut. A lot of them are made to look, you know, like, look at this out of control dog, and then in the next few clips, it's absolutely perfect. Yeah. And, you know, I believe this is where the problem's going, because they're thinking, well, how comes? Oh, they could take them to a trainer, and the trainer said, well, I'll help you train them. And then the trainer comes away, and then the person is left on their own, and they're like, well, the dog's gone right back to how it was. And I think I know that this is the issue, because people are thinking, well, how comes my dog don't get it? Is it me? It's something that I'm doing. I'm not right for my dog. So what they end up doing is giving up. And this is why these dogs end up in the homes. And this is why I like to show my raw journey, that yes, myself and Joe have we are trained in dog psychology and behaviour. We do have over 25 years experience collectively. But guess what? It still happens to us. We've got Sabre, he's reactive, he's a little toe rag. But then I'm thinking to myself, okay, I need to work a different training regime out with him, something that's going to tweak to his personality. and tailor it to him. So I'm learning as
I
well.
think that's a really important thing you've just said there. You've had to tailor.
Yeah. Frozen? Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry, you froze it for a second.
Oh, saying that. Are you there? Are you there?
I am.
Oh, good.
I am.
Good. I can't see your face. That's why it's really weird to me. I'm still sitting here looking at a black screen again.
Yeah,
It's
you
the
went
weirdest
a little bit. You went a little bit CGI for a second then.
went a bit Dalek-y, did I?
Yeah.
But that's a really important. It's a really important thing to emphasize. It's not the same training over and over and over
No.
again. You might have a dog. You might have a dog that is treat orientated, but we all know that Mel, she doesn't have a treat orientated dog.
No.
He's on praise. So you've got to work out, and there's a lot of training camps and dog training centers that just focus on treat based. Yes, of course, dogs are and should be using their noses. Fundamentally, that's their first sense. However, if they're not in that state of mind, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I'd just pick that up there, Suze, but go on, carry on.
Yeah. So with the training side of aspect of things, what we're trying to tell people. So going back to these dogs that have been, given up on because the owners just feel that they've hit a brick wall. And there's so many, for want of a better word, a snowflake approach to a lot of the training methods. Now, yes, it's great to do treat-based rewards. Absolutely, if it works. Clicker training, if it works, that's great. I'm using Clicker on Sabre. It works amazingly. However, there are training methods that you are going to have to use, because if your dog is that much bigger, that much more dominant, you are going to have to use the likes of prong collars, the likes of e-collars, and they are not cruel. They are not the bad press that everything and everyone gives them. They are perfectly safe for animals. I've used it on my animals. I've used it on myself. And
this is true. We did use it. We did try it out.
We did try it out ourselves. And none of it is painful. When you think they've got a thick coat around their neck and a lot of thick skin, so people think, oh God, prong collars, But when you think about how horses are trained, what are them things they put on their feet and they squeeze into their horses' sides? Horsey people out there will know what I'm talking about. And people
like the stirrup bits.
Yeah, and they're like metal things you clip on your shoe that just.
I'm not a horsey person. I'm absolutely no doubt.
I love horses. I love them, but I don't know a lot about them.
No. Me neither.
When I was in America and we went to a ranch where there were horses and they had all these horses and they had this, I said, my first thing was, you can't use that on the horse. I can't do that in the horse's side. And they said, you've no idea. If you don't, that horse can't feel nothing because they're so thick skinned. And this is the same situation with a dog. So if you just squeeze a horse's sides, anyone that knows a horse, if they're a little bit stubborn, they're going to be like, you've got to give them a little push, and to make the horse go. And I say I'm not professional in horses, but that's just my experience where I'm trying to associate with something similar. So with a dog, sometimes you do need that extra reinforcement. It's the difference of like having power steering on a car and not having power on the steering on the car. So it's about you probably wouldn't use a prong collar, you definitely wouldn't use a prong collar on a little dog. You wouldn't use possibly an e-collar on a little dog, or you might, depending on how reactive they were, but you certainly wouldn't need to use a prong anyway. So when you've got a big, powerful breed, it's prongs and e-collars that are going to change the whole dynamics. And by using all these different methods that myself and Joe are doing, it's saying, right, okay, what's going to fit? What's going to tailor to your dog? What's your dog's personality? Okay, and we might try all these different methods until we find one that clicks, that works. And listen, 100%. It's not an overnight job. Sometimes this can take weeks. Sometimes this can take months, but that's okay. It's perfectly okay. I've been going through it with Sabre now on and off for a good couple of months now. where I think, yes, I've got him in a good place. Yes, he's listening to me. And next minute, boom, he's like a rocket. He's gone. You know, he's like, I'm looking over here. I'm doing this. So, you know, I'm going through it. So no one needs to give up. No one needs to feel like they're doing a bad job, you know.
No, definitely not. And I think it's really important to just say as well, like we touched on it earlier, but it's consistency more than anything else. You know, you've got to have that consistency. Suze was saying that, you know, there's lots of dogs, they're called yo-yo dogs. They go in and out of kennels, and it's incredibly sad. I worked at kennels when I was 16, and it was absolutely, it was horrifying because obviously the noise as well,
the
but
noise.
it's the noise is just awful. And if you've got a very anxious or timid dog, it's an awful place to be, a really awful place to be. And the centres at the moment are so overcrowded. And the things that people are giving their dogs up for, I am astonished, actually astounded. So I'll go on, I'm part of quite a few groups on Facebook, and it's like, oh, you know, I've got a new baby. And I'm thinking, okay, I get it, but you don't get a dog just for a 5-minute wonder. No, you've got to put the work in. You know, I had Nikita and I got pregnant, and he was 7. So imagine having Nikita that's 7 years old
and a little baby coming into the mix
and bringing a baby into the mix whilst building a house. It was an incredibly stressful time, but we did it, and he was okay. But the thing was, is just that I could have easily turned around and said, oh, you know, like, I can't do this because it's too hard. No. And when you were saying about snowflake society, I suppose that's what we're coming up against as well, isn't it? It's a very chuck away society now.
It is.
Chuck away this, chuck away that. Yeah. On demand, everyone's impatient. Nobody's willing to put in the work. And this is what it is. It's work. It's consistent work. And it's every week, every day, hour by hour some days. And that's what it's about. And you'll notice as well, there's lots of people that take in and they do fostering. And they are doing amazing work, but without those people, those dogs would be euthanized. I can't remember the statistic, but it's insane, the statistic on the amount of dogs that are euthanized every single day. Healthy, fit dogs, because people just can't be bothered with them anymore.
They can't be bothered. It's laziness. It is very sad, and there is absolutely no excuse whatsoever to unless maybe they didn't want the dog in the first place and it was a bit of a novelty to start with. You can get novelty people that just buy things. I've even known, not people personally to myself, because I wouldn't socialise in those circles, but I have known of people where one dog hasn't quite done as they're told, that and get another one. Literally how some people work. And you just think, my goodness, it's not that hard.
No.
Sorry, you're freezing for a little second there. Yeah, you're back in the room. It's back in the room.
Sorry, I had to take my Wi-Fi off. I do apologise because I was losing myself. Losing myself. I could hear you, and I was thinking, no, I'm not really hearing her that very well today. So, what do you want? We asked people if they had any questions or anything. Like before, we was asking people if they want to ask us any questions, because that's what these lives are going to be about. So, ask us anything. Feel free. We're non-judgy. We're not going to sit there and say, don't do it like this, do it like this. Like we've more than likely made those mistakes in the first place.
You can't see what I'm doing at the minute because I know you're not looking at me.
Well, I can't see you. It's black. It's a black screen. I'm gonna see if I can take a picture of a screenshot. Oh look, see, I've taken a screenshot of what I see. So it's the weirdest thing because I can't see a thing. No.
That's so weird.
You could be doing anything for all I know.
I'm holding up. Okay, people. It's nothing S&M going on here. This is a Joe's like, what is it? No, do you know my little jaw opener, Joe? The reason why I'm holding this up is because literally before I come on this Zoom,
Yeah.
Zoom live, I literally see a guy struggling with his dog. So I just have to say, so that's nothing to do with what we're actually talking about in this topic. But there was a guy I see out the window, and he's got this little dog, and it's obviously got something in his mouth that he don't want in its mouth. So he's picking this dog up. He's trying to prise his jaws open. The dog ain't letting go.
You've got the thing, ain't you? Right, the metal thing.
Thing.
You've got.
I've got
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
So he stood out there for about a good 10 minutes. I'm thinking, do I intervene or what do I do? Because some people don't like other people intervening. And I'm thinking, can I just? I thought, I'll just watch how it goes. So he's literally trying to gently smack the dog's side of its mouth to get, and it went on for ages. I'm thinking, mate, just stick your finger. Push the tongue down. When you push the tongue down, the mouth comes open automatically. If you don't want to put your finger in, if you feel you're going to get your fingers
Finger
teeth,
yeah.
This, it's amazing. It goes in the gap, and so when they catch the teeth, there's a gap. There's always a gap in the teeth, and you pop this in. You push down the tongue. Hey presto! Doesn't matter what size of the dog, big or huge. This contraction is going to open the jaw up.
So hold on. So what did he have in it? What's the end of the story? Did you go out there?
No, I didn't.
I'm intrigued now. Why did you go out there, woman? This is awful. Now I don't even know.
Sorry.
Now, what's the end of the cop? Oh, this is terrible. This is like watching a program and then not getting to the end of it, and someone's called you away, and then you can't watch it anymore. It's on live TV. Oh, this is shocking.
No, the dog went off absolutely fine. I could see the owner had a really happy look on his face because I think it was pure relief. He did, because I could see him, whatever it was, he managed to get the jaw open after shaking, almost hanging him upside down. He wasn't being cruel. He was just desperate to get whatever it was in his mouth out. And
you're
so funny. See him throw it over the seawall, and I just thought, okay, that could have been done a lot easier.
Oh, that's too funny. You're too funny.
The dog was still gripping on with its little teeth.
So, what is one of the common questions that we get asked as trainers? What's the top questions we always get messages about? My dog
pulls on the lead.
Always.
My dog
always. Always. My dog pulls on the lead. What can I do about it? Can you help? First of all, we help with anything. So anything dog behavioural, nothing is too small. Nothing's too small or too large. Yeah. We can help with anything. As I said, and as Susie said, we've had large breeds all of our lives. So for me, I mean, I've got a smaller breed now. He's a Labrador size, but we've always had big dogs. So, well, actually, that's actually a lie. I had a Cocker Spaniel, and then my uncle bought my mum a Jack Russell. So, that's not true. But, however,
working line, high energy, the Cocker Spaniel, high energy dogs.
He was the most aggressive dog I'd ever had in my life. He was awful, and he'd go for your throat as well. He was horrific. So, and I've been bitten a few times by dogs. But what we always
bit by a spaniel, actually. And that's nothing against spaniels. That's nothing against spaniels.
Oh no, they're lovely dogs.
They're just.
Oh gosh, no, they're lovely dogs, but they are they're working on. But this is the thing, is just that we always get messages about my dog pulls. Can you help me? Yes, 100% we can help you. The thing is just that if a dog is pulling, 9 times out of 10, there's other stuff going on. Of
course there is.
It can be that all the time, anytime a dog does this, is because they think they're the leader. 100%. Yeah. That's the only reason why you have any problems with any dogs. Full stop, point blank, that's it. Yeah. Because they feel that they've got to take a leadership role.
Yeah.
So if you've got a dominant dog, which is what I had a typical alpha in my last dog. When I picked him from the litter, I didn't have a clue what I was looking for. I just wanted the prettiest doggy. I wanted the one that was gonna, yeah, I just wanted the prettiest doggy basically. I was like,
Mm,
oh, he's cute, he's cute. Didn't know what I was looking for. Now looking
mm.
back, there was the signs were written all
Yeah,
over him.
because it's in there, in the little, like when they're
Oh
6
gosh,
weeks of age, they're showing it younger than that. And do you know, I was actually speaking to Sue Radley about this. Hi, Sue,
yeah,
if you're on here. When I
yeah,
said, when you're choosing a puppy, you know, people tend to go for the one that comes straight up to them first. Well, that's going to be a confident dog.
yeah,
Um, if you
yeah,
want a dog to suit your nature, if you're a very calm nature, go for the one that's just loitering in the background,
yeah,
not wanting attention, just chilling out.
yeah. So that was Buddy. So because it was COVID when I picked Buddy, I had to do it over Zoom. So you can imagine picking a dog out in
Oh,
Zoom,
yeah, yeah.
and I had to go backwards and forwards with them for quite a few times just to make sure, because he was the one who was like with his mum, a little bit of sniffing away from his mum. The
Mm,
other, I could see there was one who was like constantly trying to challenge the other pack members. And I was like, I don't want that one because he's going to be challenging everything I do. But with Winnie, oh my
mm,
days, from day one, he challenged me,
mm,
and it was really like you could really tell. But this is the thing, is just that when you've got a dominant personality, not necessarily a dog, personality,
mm.
because you can have a Jack Russell
Yeah,
who thinks they're leader and they're dominant. It doesn't matter what dog breed it is. Don't get hepped up on the breed, because it's not about the
no,
breed, it's about the
not about that.
personality. Because from a very, very young age, and it's the same in the wild as well with wolves, there's a pack hierarchy. So what they will do is they will challenge each other. Only the strongest will survive.
Mm,
If you've got a strong pack leader, that pack will survive. If
mm,
you don't have a strong pack leader, you're all going to die. So
mm.
this is how serious dogs take it. They're
Yeah, they do.
predators. Don't ever forget that they are predators
Hmm.
first and foremost.
All of
That's
them.
their job.
Yep.
That is their job.
Yeah.
So when you're going out on a walk, it's not just a walk for them.
No.
It's not a walk for them. They take it very, very seriously. So
Mm,
you can either have the dominant in the pack who's leading the pack, who wants to go out in front, who wants to go in the direction that they want to go in, because they're looking for food, they're looking for safety, they're looking for perceived like worries,
correct.
anything that could
Yeah.
happen. So danger.
Mm,
You've got some that are middle of the pack that are kind of okay. It's all right. I'm not going to be too worried about going on a walk, but I'm not going to be too comfortable with some of the decisions that you make. So I
mm,
might lay down. I might want to go this way. And then you've got the submissive ones that will just go with you wherever you want to go, and they're not really that worried. They're kind of like the
mm.
beaters, or they're not the beaters. They're the amigas. They're at the bottom of the pack.
Yeah.
They're not really that worried. Yeah.
Mm,
So they're pretty kind of easygoing dogs, but they're the ones that might get picked on a bit with other
yeah.
dogs. So you've got different types of hierarchy, and if you've got the dominant dog, that's when you obviously have you've really, as an owner,
Mm,
have got to come in, and you've got to come in strong. And I'm not saying you've got to be abusive towards the dog.
no.
Absolutely not. I'm saying your personality, your energy has to be bigger than that dog.
It has to
So if you've
change,
got
doesn't it?
yeah, so if they're going to challenge you, you've got to make sure that you've got it in your
Yeah.
arsenal
Yeah.
to back it up,
It is. And
because
you, you,
effectively you could be causing a big fight when you go out. It's a lot.
absolutely. You have to literally, people don't realise you have to literally change yourself. So if you're a bit of a calm, submissive person
Mm,
and you've got a dominant dog, you have to change yourself. And I was speaking to Mel earlier
mm.
about this as well, because she said, oh, I felt embarrassed by, using the strong voice in public, because people, like Mel said, it's not very
Oh
ladylike.
God,
You know,
can you
me,
imagine? I do all the time.
no one wants to hear me when I'm out.
No,
I think I've often used a few
just
profanities as well. you know, and
you
I
should see me,
just,
Mel. You should have seen me with Winnie. I'll make you laugh. I decided to buy some inline skates, and I don't know why I thought this was a
you've
good idea. I had in
got
my head,
skates.
like, I had in my,
With Winnie,
I don't know why I thought this was a
that ain't
good
going
idea.
well.
you know where this is going. So I bought these inline skates, couldn't really skate either. So, and I had a long line lead, and Winnie took me skating down the sea wall, and he took me, and he took me in that mud. You know the mud, that's really smelly mud.
Yeah, stinky. Yeah.
He
He
saw a seagull, and he started chasing after the seagull. So Mel, I'm not being funny, but you can imagine my absolute like. Hi Marie, you can imagine my absolute like aghast. Do you know what I mean? And this was in the middle of the summer, and this was in a packed sea wall. So this was down, like, you know, the round back where I live. This was near me. So not being funny, but you can imagine I'm screaming, and I'm like, and I was swearing and everything. So trust me, and I didn't even start. Yeah, he took me. He took me for a walk, Mel. I'm not even joking. And that's not the first time. I then done it on a bike as well, because I thought, you know, why couldn't I do this? Because, you know, the first time didn't work out well. So I ended up putting him on my bike. So you're talking an 8-stone dog, right? Well, brakes ain't going to work with an 8-stone dog. I went flying down the hill. So you know where yeah, yeah, I had the brakes on, but I was still going. He was pulling me, and I was like, this is awful. And it was all to get to another dog. So trust me, Mel, when you're saying I feel bad, that's me screaming around most of the place where I live about these dogs. So honestly, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah,
No, I did learn.
I
didn't learn, Mel. I done that, and then I done another thing after that. Because I'm really, you know, a glutton for punishment. I had a long line lead, and I think I told some of the others on our walks. I had a long line lead, and it was attached to my waist, and I threw a ball, and I completely forgot, and I knocked myself out, and that was over Hadley Downs. And there was a guy but Winnie was sitting over the top of me, licking my face, trying to wake me up, and all I could hear was this guy going, "Are you okay?" I was winded. I was like, because he'd gone for the ball. I went up in the air and slammed down. So trust me, whatever you're going through, I've been there. Worn the t-shirt. That's why. This is why I went into dog behaviour, because I couldn't work out what I was doing wrong. I was thinking all these lovely things in my head.
Yeah, all these
really
butterflies and all the lovely things.
Yeah, it was like
it's not, is it?
Yeah, it had that there's a song that Daisy always sings, and I think it's I can't remember, it's like Cloudy with Meatballs, is it called, the film? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Sunshine and lollipops. That's what it goes in my That's what's going around in my head on loop when I'm sitting there and I'm thinking it weren't like that at all. Really was not like that at all. So yes,
we've all been through it. We're all still going through it, and don't be worried about what other people think. Listen, if people are going to judge you, then they're not worth worrying about their responses anyway. Like, I won't worry if people are judging me. I don't care what they think. Just literally do what you need to do.
Yeah,
you're looking out for your dog. Don't worry about what other people are thinking. What they, you know, that's their thing.
But also, I was going to say, it's a bit like you having. Was I talking to you about this the other day when I said, or was it someone else? And I said, there's lots of people out there that go, "Oh, I don't like shouting at my kids," and I go, "Well, if it's my child who's going to stick their hand in a socket, I'm going to shout, aren't I? Because I know they're going to get electrocuted." So it's the same thing with your dog. If you know that there's something that's about to happen or could potentially happen, you know, you're saving them from themselves. So it's not a case of like, I mean, people must see me and think, what is she on? But I don't really care, because I'm trying to make sure my pack's safe. Do you see what I'm saying? Shouting isn't necessarily a good thing in a pack, but I can understand why you would certainly have a strong voice. That's me. I have a strong voice when I'm out in the pack. Get here.
That's it.
Come. Like, there's not. If you're doing this, come on, come here, boy. You're not going to have that same like, get here or come. You're not. There's a different energy involved in it, and the dog's not going to listen to you if you're going, oh, puppies, you gotta go. Mummy love her very much. It's not. You're not gonna get that. He's gonna be like wagging its tail, going, "What's happening? What's happening now?
Yeah.
What do we do?" Do you know what I
The
mean?
only time
It's,
you use
you know,
that voice is if you're praising them. If they've done something good, and you're like, "Good boy!" So you're gonna raise your voice a bit, and because it's fun and it's nice. That sound is all happy-go-lucky sound. But when you
yeah.
want them to listen to you, you've got to you do that, do you, Mel? Mel.
Come on, Mel.
Yeah. Use the
Think Joe going down the side of the
you
sea wall
just
and the
repeat,
words that you need to use.
Sorry, no. Sorry, you've just stepped up behind me. I've got our YouTube channel in the background, so I've got Joe in front of me and Joe behind me. Sorry, everyone else is going to be seeing it. Yeah.
I can't see it. I can't see a thing. This is the most frustrating live ever. I can see myself on a blank screen. So Pippa's recall is crap sometimes, not when I'm with the pack though. No, and that's really interesting because I have that with my pack. So when I go out with my dogs that I walk during the day, when I talk to the owners, they go, I never let my dogs off. I never let them off. But because they're with a pack, they act very differently.
Yeah,
They
they
act very
do.
differently. They act very, very differently in a pack. The thing is just that when they're in a pack and that pack's established, which is why when we start our pack, there's lots of barking, there's lots of like energy, they're all sussing each other out. But when you're walking together, you're forming a pack. Obviously, there's going to be hierarchy challenges within that pack. If we were to let them all off, there would be challenges.
Yeah.
So, and which is what we witnessed on.
It's a pack in the end, don't they?
Yeah. So what we acted, and this is why I said to that guy, some of you might not have been on that pack walk, but there was a guy walking past us. And he had his dog off lead, and Oscar, it sniffed Oscar's backside, which is not abnormal. That's absolutely fine. That's normal behaviour from a dog. But as a pack, they could have all come in, and that could have turned into a dog fight.
Yeah.
Which is why I said to the guy, please put him on a lead. Just grab him by the collar, walk him on, because we've got some really reactive dogs. That's just advocating for the pack, because it can turn, and it can turn nasty. So you have to advocate for the pack in that instance. So you'll notice that when she's with the pack, she will be different in the pack.
And
but if you're worried about
doing it each week,
yeah,
that pack will get used to each other
yeah,
more. So they literally become they become quite primal.
Yeah, it was a Dr. Bordeaux, Cheryl.
That's right.
Dr. Bordeaux.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's one of Scott's friends that he knew from school. I don't know him, but I know of him, and he's had a couple. So his last dog used to play with my old dog, so I know it because he's always had Dr. Bordeaux.
Yeah.
So with that, and because also he's intact as well, this is the thing, we've got a lot of intact males, so we have to be very, very careful with what we're doing. So that's why you'll see me, I'm way more focused on a pack walk.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking, I'm always looking at stuff. I'm always normally, if I'm not at the front, I'm right at the back, because I'm trying to watch who's doing what, and then if I need to feedback, I'll feedback to the owner and stuff like that. I mean, we had something at the end of the pack walk, didn't we, last week with Oscar and Buddy?
Yeah.
So I've always noticed there's an energy between the two, so I've always kept them at a distance. So I had Oscar, and I was showing Nikki what to do with the slip lead collar. I've done a little video on that yesterday, a slip lead collar, and it's that basically slip lead up the thing, and you can attach a long line lead or whatever, right? It's a really good training tool. I was talking about it to Nikki, and they kicked off. There was nothing that happened, but I was watching. It was they were eyeing each other up, and Oscar went for Buddy. But this is the thing, is that that's why it's quite difficult when you've got your own dogs there to actually observe it. It's very tricky for me. So if you see me being a little bit distant on a walk, it's not because I'm being funny, it's just because I'm observing the pack. That's all I'm doing. So
it's funny because Mel said that earlier, because Mel said normally she sees me as this person that's happy-go-lucky, laughy, but when I'm on the pack walk, I become this serious person. And you do, though, don't you? You have to become, because our eyes are on the ball constantly.
Yeah. Well,
Looking
you always say
for the telltale signs.
yeah, you always say to me you're the more observant one. Like I'm the one who's like the hands-on one, and I'm the one who's observing. It's true because I'm normally just yeah. You just have to be. The main thing is what I always say. It's safety.
Yeah.
There's a pack. It's safety. If there's dogs coming, I ask everyone to move out of the way. If I'm standing with everyone, I say move to the side. Let's move out of the way because obviously it's just safety first. What Marie said, yes, she stays close if I let her off on walks in open spaces. But if it's just me walking her, sometimes she won't listen and come back straight away, pushing her luck. Yeah, take an inch, take a mile, don't they?
Yeah.
But Marie, is Pippa is she treat orientated or not? And if so, that's yeah, I would put her on a long line lead and just so you at least you can have control of that. We've done some videos on that, haven't we? Are they in?
I can't say enough about long line leads. I think they're super important for recall. People should use them a lot more.
I done a training on one of them. It's on the YouTube.
Yeah,
Buddy, I think I've done it with Buddy, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, so if you've got her on a long line lead, Marie, and you watch, I'll try and put the YouTube channel in here afterwards after we finish. But I've done a training on that, just on the long line leads. They're so effective, effective, and I can't, like I said, didn't we, Suze? When it was, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, and I said, let them on their long line leads, and let's just see. They can't hurt no one. They've got their muzzles.
Yeah,
let's just see if this is lead reactive, because sometimes you have to test them. You're not entirely sure. I was pretty weren't we? We were saying, I was saying it's probably lead. It probably is lead. Let's just see if it's lead. They're not going to be able to hurt no one. They've got their muzzles on.
Yeah.
Different dogs, aren't they? Some
completely different dogs, because you know where they're coming from. Like Sabre, I realised what he was doing. He's a nose puncher.
Yeah.
So what he was going around doing was literally nose punching for a reaction every dog to see who was going to react, and whoever reacted, he was like, "This is game. This is it." When he went up and nose punched Gemma was like, not bothered. Buddy.
Yeah, he did the same thing with Buddy, didn't he? He did the same thing with my Buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they weren't giving him the response that he wanted. He's literally poking the bear as he's going along.
Yeah.
So you got to see all dogs where they were at. Whereas if they were going to go for the throat, then you'll know that's serious business.
Which is what happened. Which is what happened to me. So just so I can explain to everyone, this has happened to me today. So the dogs I walk, I believe I walk 2 intact males and a non-spaded female. So, and I believe she's coming into season. One of my dogs will be very, very, he'll pick up on it first. So I've been noticing him this week. So he's gone for Buddy's throat today, and it was bad. But the thing is just that I was going for a gate, and he meant business, and it was really poor. And I thought, oh no, mate, but it's fine because I know what I'm doing, but it's still like, come on now.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You've got to recognise that they are predators. The only fittest, strongest will survive, and that's their way of telling each other. There was no biting. There wasn't any what's the word? Latching on. It was a quick round the throat.
But it was it took me back super quick to remember our first ever pack meet and greet, and there was a German Shepherd, a black lab. And pull the German Shepherd off the black lab.
Yes, and I was standing there like, what is happening? And you just went over and just grabbed him by the collar, lifted him off, and went, rightio. And I was like, okay, let's keep.
Like a couple of bears, weren't they?
I was like, let's keep them away from each other. Yeah.
Calm and collective, Joe.
Yeah, well,
but
you have to be though, don't you? Let's be honest.
You got
it. What can you do? I think that, I mean, me today, I kind of thought, right, first things first is just that obviously, we've now got to split up and we can't walk them together because, that's fine. That's what we need to do. But it just goes to show that that's my pack and that's who I walk every day.
And that's
and that's just a few. And, and if you are walking that many dogs all together, you have to be. to have your eyes on
Yeah, you do.
all the time.
And
Um,
yeah.
and I was going to say, sorry, go on, carry on.
No, I was just
I
going
was
to
just going to answer
say,
Marie. Go on.
I touched a bit on the last pack walk of how to deal with situations. So that's also something helpful to tell people, that how to deal with if a dog comes up and, you know, tries it on with your dog, and how to also how to spot the telltale signs. So it's not always the gobby dog that's going to be a threat to your dog, because generally the gobby dogs, that's not really a good tactic in the pack. In the wild, because that's saying, I'm coming, I'm here. It'll be the dog that don't say anything. It's the quiet, silent assassins that will come in. They won't give any, well, we'll see the telltale signs, but they'll come in very silent. Boom. So yeah, I think that's also on the pack walks that we do, try and help people out with that, don't we?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's just making people aware of the signals, signs. There's lots of stuff, and it's a lot of it's subtle as well. You don't necessarily see it.
Yeah.
If there's so many of them, you don't necessarily see it. No, I'm saying I'm putting people off the pack walks now, because they're marvelous. They are marvelous. We need to be speaking more of the benefits here. Like
yeah, no, really
I was just going to say about Marie. I did try on Saturday, but it was blowing everywhere. It was so windy and kept going in her back legs. I'll try again for sure. So I would say, did you get one of the ones that we've got? The because that won't blow around. It's the ones we've got is like a rubber that you can wipe clean. I'll put it in the link.
Something, isn't it?
I'll put it in the link in our WhatsApp group, because I think they're really good. They don't. I mean, they do tangle, but they're not as nearly as bad as the fabric ones.
Yeah.
They're much better. And I think for them, it gives them that little bit. But she's all right on a pack walk. It's only when you're on your own, isn't it? When she doesn't come back. But you can try it. Go. If you watch the one that I did with Buddy, you'll see what I did in that one. And I'd done one with Kiko as well, didn't I? One of the ones that I walk, and I showed her. No, mine is a thin nylon one. Yeah. It's just again, no, like we were saying, and what we was picking up on earlier. There's so many different tools that we can use. You know, some people just use just a lead, and they're like, oh, I didn't know there was all this stuff. It's only because we're dog behaviourist trainers, but we've seen more stuff and we use more stuff. You know, like clickers and stuff like that. You know, I use sometimes with the ones I walk with. Clicker training works for those. Buddy likes to please.
Yeah.
So he's quite good, because he knows that I'm getting something out of this. I'm so happy. Do you know what I mean? Like that. He likes that. He likes praise. He loves affection. So he likes doing stuff. Yeah. Whereas my Akita would look at you and go, well, what's in it for me? What are you going to do? Honestly, I mean, I could have left home for 4 weeks, and he would have gone out and killed a goat. You know what I mean? He didn't need me much at all. You know what I mean? I was a hindrance, probably.
What are you doing here, human?
What are you doing here? Look after myself, mate. Sort yourself out. Bit of cheese. What do you think a cheese is going to do? Yeah, horrific.
Yeah.
It's just how far you've come in here. I just look at things and think crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, right. So we were saying, on what day are we meeting? Sunday.
I'm meeting Sunday at 11 o'clock. 11
o'clock.
And so now we've always talked about this. We're going to mention it. Bring your kids along. This is not to feed to the dogs. Bring your kids along, because it's really important to have the kids involved in it, so that children are learning on how to be around other dogs, and they can really learn a lot. And not only that, parents, it'll wear your kids out. All the fresh sea air, learning new things, learning about dogs. It's good fun. They'll be safe, because all dogs that are reactive are on muzzles. And also it helps those dogs to get used to children as well, if they're not used to children. So I think it's a good all-round fun day out for the family as well.
Yeah. And this is what we were saying before. When we need to, we really do need to get across that these pack walks is not just about dogs; it is about the family.
It's the whole
Because
family.
for us, we want everyone to be involved. Because when you go home, those people are in your house. Like, you
Yeah.
know, and also sometimes you can be on a pack walk and you can go home and the husband says, "Where was it?" Or do you know what I mean? Like, involve them. I mean, obviously if they're around, obviously, you know, don't want to be
Yeah.
dragged along and they don't want to be there. But
Yeah.
for us, I mean, you know, we've got our spouses there. Daisy's normally there as well. If she's not moaning up to a high teeth about going out for another walk.
Well, if there's other kids there, then she's got other kids to play with, hasn't she? Bless her. So
Yeah, and yeah, but also she's always been pretty good around
mm,
dogs. When I got rid of no, I didn't get rid of him. When my Akita died, um, Daisy was 3, 4, I'm gonna say.
yeah. Oh, that
4.
gone that quick.
Yeah. And she then started getting frightened of dogs because we didn't have a dog around, and she had a few run-ins with dogs. So one was over Canby Height where she had a stick and a hussy come out of nowhere to grab the stick,
Oh,
but she was not.
yeah.
No, but she was on
Yeah.
top of that hill. She was on top of that hill and he knocked her.
Oh,
So she went flying down a hill. Yeah, she went roly-polying down a hill. Um, all
oh.
because the dog wanted to stick. And obviously the owner was absolutely mortified. She was fine. But that was the first thing. The second thing was there was a Boston Terrier over at the beach, and she was getting water in a bucket she was just getting some water in a bucket from the edge, and it grabbed her arm. Um,
Oh.
yeah, and from that point on, she was terrified of
Mm,
dogs.
yeah.
Terrified. Now, when you're looking at her, you wouldn't even think that there was anything wrong with her.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So it's really funny that, you know, I'll fetch Vinny, my 8-year-old. People can be excitable and walks with him. Although, yeah, so Daisy's 8, so she'll look after him.
Yeah.
But it's funny because those two incidences really, really frightened her.
Mm,
And so for 18 months, every weekend, we went to the forest. We went everywhere.
mm,
Anywhere there was dogs.
yeah.
And she would run. She'd run. And I'd be like, calm, calm, calm. We went retreat. And slowly but surely, she come
And
around. And now look
now
at her.
look at her, bless her.
She's
Like,
walking other people's
she
dogs.
keeps getting
Yeah, so
humped by Saber and Buddy. And
the other Buddy. Yeah,
bless her heart.
yeah,
And she
Buddies and
just,
Gemma, weren't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
she just chills. She's chilled out, and it don't phase her. But
No.
again, this is something that's going to be so good for kids to learn, because also we can teach things like that as well. Like if you see another dog around, maybe
Yeah.
it's not a good idea to kick your football, or maybe it's not a good idea, especially if the dog's off the lead.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a good idea to hold a stick in the air. Maybe just be mindful of these small things. Because it's funny when you said that about the stick. Obviously, I
Mm,
had mine all on the lead because I see a couple of children
mm,
and they had a ball and they were kicking the ball about. Well, my dog's thought that was
yeah.
game. That was wow, excellent ball.
Cool.
And if I'd have had them off the lead, that ball probably wouldn't have been a ball any longer.
Yeah. Oh,
So
100%.
it's so important that children learn all this information as well, so that they know how
Yeah.
to be around dogs.
Yeah, and this is what we were saying though, wasn't it? About when you were saying about dogs in kill centres and stuff like that, whereby, you know, we're trying to stop that. We're trying to, you know, as a family, look after. I've got to plug my phone in, but we've got to look after all of the dogs,
Yeah,
all of the family. And it's so important that that's what we
yeah.
do. It's so important that we involve everyone. So yeah, to grab the kids, that's definitely a thing
Yeah.
that we should do.
Because like
Definitely.
Daisy, you were very kind on them instances, that you were like, listen, I know that it was because she'd pulled a stick up, had a stick in there. I know it's because of this, that, and the other.
Yeah, of
Most
course.
other people wouldn't see it like that.
Oh gosh,
And
no.
it becomes such a sad scenario. So
Yeah,
it's mindfulness for parents and their children, and
definitely.
hopefully we can make a change of these things not happening to animals, not ending up in shelters, and worse, not ending up euthanized.
Mm. So we're going for a walk Sunday.
With the children,
If
if
you want to
possible.
come along, if you have a dog and you feel like they need some socialising, or you just feel like, oh, I could really do with
Yeah.
this help,
Doesn't
please
matter
come
how
along.
barky they are, because I know there's been a few people that are like, oh, my dog barks. That's fine. We've all
Yeah.
got barky, loud dogs coming along. Don't worry.
No, don't worry about any of it. It's all
No.
good. We're there to help you. It's all about coming together, socialising, having a good time, and really confidence building in you guys. In anything that we always say was to empower you as a family, as a pack leader. So hopefully you guys can come along. And if you've got any friends that you think could
Bring
really
them.
benefit from it, please bring them, get the word out. Like what Susie said, our job is to empower, to save dogs as well, just to help every single person, get them out of the kennels. I think that's a really important thing that we emphasise.
And if there's someone
So yes,
as well, because I keep thinking of things. We will end this live in shortly. But there was a girl along the seawall. I heard her talking to herself, self-talking to herself. She clearly had a fear of dogs, and it was really interesting because I heard her saying, "It's okay. They're not going to hurt me. They're not going to hurt me. I am okay." So she was talking to herself, and I got it, and I was like, "Oh, bless her. She's really trying." So if you know anyone that's got a fear of dogs, they may not have to have a dog. They've got a fear of dogs. Bring them along. We can help them too.
Yeah, no, definitely. Turn into a life coaching course. See?
Yeah. We help just
Get me life coaching stuff back out.
Get your life. Yeah, absolutely. We help everybody. Dogs, animals, kids.
It's true. It's true. It's just energy, isn't it?
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
energy.
So it's
Right.
exciting. It's exciting because what we are making a big change.
No,
and
we are.
We've got such a huge turnout every week, which is so
and
amazing.
we're so passionate about it as well. We love it, don't we? We really do love it. It's a highlight. It's a really good day.
It's a buzz. We're like
2 hours.
our own little family in the group, and it's beautiful because everyone's helping each other. Someone else grabs someone else's dog if they're struggling. It's a beautiful little group we've got.
It is. It's lovely. Aww. Right, I'm going to end it there before my phone dies. But again, if anyone has any questions or comments or wants some help with something, please drop us some comments. Or if you don't feel comfortable with that, message us, Canines of Canvey. Please like, subscribe to our channels. I'll put our YouTube channel here. Susie's doing an amazing job editing these videos. Fine. She's just doing you're doing amazing, and it's so beautiful to watch them. She nearly had me in tears the other day with one of them. So they're really good. So please support us. Anything that we put out there, please just share it as well, because we really do just want to get it across to everyone as much as we possibly can. So thank you so much.
It takes a few seconds out of your day just to like, subscribe, share, all of that business. It doesn't take long, and it's for a good cause.
It really is. Thank you, everyone. Right, we'll end it there then, shall we?
Yes.
And I'll speak to you later, Alligator.
Over and out.
All right, bye. See you later, guys. See some of you on Sunday. Bye.